有，中间有用过很久的嘛，这个，他的老板新加坡人来的，是哦。
I saw it on the ads, and my friends recommended it, so I used it.
This is the 10th annual dinner of the Leung family. This year's theme is Shanghai Glamour. This is not only a celebration of family ties, but also a testament to the longevity of a business that started in the 1920s and has since spanned 7 decades.
I'm a 21st generation. Yeah, and my dad is the 20th generation, so very exciting.
我是梁庆金，梁介夫工业有限公司的董事主席，我是第20代。
I'm the second generation. They call me Five Uncle. This is Leung's family day.
How did a tiny bottle of medicated oil give rise to a multi-million-dollar business empire in the international consumer market? What is the secret behind this successful Singapore story? X brand medicated oil has been around for almost 90 years. Famous for providing numerous medical remedies, this magic oil in a bottle has been endorsed by both young and old. Its iconic logo is instantly recognizable. Its adverts are seen all over Singapore, and we're about to discover their recipe for this success story.
For those people who have been working for Leung Fook, they will tell you the same thing. They do not understand how come a small bottle of oil can do so well.
Singapore 1928. It was a time when hope was high and riches were made. Coming off from recession a few years before, prices of tin and rubber escalated and helped make fortunes of local businessmen. Many immigrants came from all over to seek their fortune in this tiny island called Nanyang. The man in his 20s, Leung Yun-chi, arrived in Singapore from China to make this place his home. This young lad had the ambition and the determination, but he also had one very important thing on his side, lady luck.
He met a German doctor, and he liked him so much. That's why he passed on to this formula of X oil. He said, the climate here is so humid and warm, and he thinks this is a good remedy for the tropical country.
The German physician whom Leung met was Dr. Schindler, who was suitably impressed and gave him a recipe for medicated oil. This marked the humble beginnings of a business empire which would stretch several generations.
开始的时候是相当困难的了，他拿起的药啊去找代理了，人家一看到他就，我们这边没有地方放你的药了，你们拿回去。
A burgeoning entrepreneurial spirit was fueling the booming economy of Singapore. This business bug bit Leung, and he set up his own medicated oil company under the name of Leung Kai Fook. Running a business was not always smooth sailing, and in the beginning, business was slow, and stiff competition from imports from China and Hong Kong made things even tougher for a local product to hold its own. Leung Yun-chi realized that this was a perception problem that has to be solved in order for his products to compete with the imported brands. Branding and advertising are important aspects of marketing a product. International brands are built upon years of strong marketing initiatives and rely on recognizable trademarks to distinguish themselves from the competition. Today, media outlets such as television, internet, billboards and print media help create awareness and shape a consumer's perception of a product or brand. But back in the 1930s and 40s, ways to reach the consumer masses were very limited. Mr. Leung Chi, however, recognized the importance of advertising and creating a strong brand image to sell his product. He would prove himself to be a marketing innovator. In the past, people used wood rather than gas for cooking. Every household had an axe, and it was a common domestic tool. With a stroke of ingenuity, Leung Chi decided to use an axe as the logo for his product.
He's really a marketing man. In those days, he wear a suit and the latest model of motor car, the driver also in uniform. So I go to Malaysia.
那么下来的时候拿起了包，穿起西装进去。那这老板呢，看见他的情况，就哇，是大老板了，就迎接他去，就跟他商量，所以一讲起来就比较容易。
Leung recognized that image was important to establishing ties with potential clients and sought to create an impression. With marketing acumen that was clearly before his time, Leung realized the importance of his company's image and made sure his staff was equally presentable.
他是这样，假如你介绍啊，放这个里面你的公司的产品啊，人家看了之后啊，就把它顺手掉了。可是它不同，它后面呢放一点这个24孝的故事，还有这个部分的是小说。那么人家看了它之后呢，里面相当可以有东西看了，所以也就拿回去给的家里人看，所以它的比较有效了。
Modern flyers and pamphlets are a common sight and simple advertising tools. Yet, we frequently find ourselves tossing them into the nearest bin. But back in the 1930s, Leung was already ahead of his time and found innovative ways to make sure X-brand handbills stayed in your hands.
At the same time, he also have a driver. You know, in those days, the Maling Kampong, the one street, so he will distribute the handbills. He distribute on one side of the road, and his driver distribute the handbill the other side of the road. That's the best medium. There's no television those days, no radio. People read them every day, you see. And if you are owner of a newspaper, if that certain days you don't have enough advertisement, you plug your own newspaper advertising in, you see. So there's a win-win situation.
From product placements to printed materials, Mr. Leung spared no expense. In fact, he had an in-house graphic designer back then to create visuals for his advertising, something that was unheard of in those days. 1942. Singapore was attacked during the Second World War. Many lives were lost and trades and businesses suffered greatly. The nation was in a social and economic depression. Despite these tumultuous times, X-brand medicated oil found itself in an uncommon situation.
这差不多1937年呢，日本说打中国了，后来呢又占据这个新加坡了。在日本的时候你知道了，这个生活方面呢，种种方面都是很差的。可是呢，我们的油呢，因为没有其他的油来，香港的不能过来，其他国家的也不能过来，因为是日本管制嘛，就是它是很严格的，所以我们的风油呢又很好销路了。
Having survived the Second World War, Singapore was now on its way to gaining full independence. National economic strategies were put in place, and with greater stability, local businesses found the freedom to thrive. Breaking through the hardships of previous decades, Leung Chi's business foresight ensured the continued growth of X brand. And when his son, Mr. Leung Heng Keng, took over during the 70s, an opportunity presented itself that would take X brand medicated oil to an international stage. The Hajj is an annual pilgrimage to Mecca. Every able-bodied Muslim must make the Hajj at least once in his or her lifetime. The largest pilgrimage of its kind in the world, with an estimated 2 million pilgrims making this journey annually. The road to Mecca is a long and arduous one, and in the 1960s, many traveled to Mecca on foot or by sea.
那么我看见的情况，我就跑上那船去看看的情况怎么样。原来他们呢，每个人都睡在船的面呢上面呢，几个人睡在起这样的。那么我看见的情况啊，坐船呢又头晕，啊，晚上又有蚊子啊，还有什么，有时候头子痛啊，头晕啊，这样我就上床呢，每一个一个派给他们我们的风油了。所以一下子呢，我去那边又找了代理了，很快就他们就跟我们做了。所以现在销路啊，我们那边很厉害，还有捷达那边也是这样情况，我们不出去的。
On this grueling journey, pilgrims would suffer headaches, giddiness, and other ailments. X brand medicated oil was what they turned to for relief. As word of this magic oil spread, X brand suddenly became a hotly sought-after item amongst the Muslims living in countries such as Indonesia, Pakistan, and even Kenya. Mr. Leung Yin Chi's philosophy is to sacrifice profit margins and to make his products affordable for the masses. His foresight and business strategy has helped his products expand mainly within the Singapore and Malaysian markets. But when the new generation took over the family business, they sought fresh ways and means to further their reach around the world.
Before we have the attitude of, because we are a well-known product, we are expecting the orders to come in. But instead of now, I'm seeking for the orders.
Because of my position as a business development manager in Leung Fook, the goal is to expand, to more countries. Now we are looking into India, Africa, certain parts of Africa, because we are already in Africa, but still a lot of territory we have not covered. So we are still expanding.
With the help of our forefathers, this little island of Singapore, with its humble beginnings, has been transformed into a modern city and ranks as a nation with one of the world's highest per capita incomes. However, the business world of today is highly competitive and vastly different from 70 years ago. How does Leung Fook ensure that they can keep up with modern times while retaining their traditional roots? As Leung Fook's business went global, demand for X brand medicated oil grew exponentially. In the beginning, bottles were manually filled and production was slow. Mr. Leung Man San realized that operations would have to be changed drastically in order for them to meet increased sale requirements.
Before just by menu, because maybe the filling the bottles, they probably use a needle, a big bottle, a rubber tube with a needle, and then fill the bottle one at a time. You see.
Along with the rising cost of labor, Mr. Leung Man San had to figure out a way to raise the production capacity of the factory while keeping the operation costs low. A substantial amount of investment was used in acquiring state-of-the-art equipment that would radically ramp up the production volume to meet higher demand overseas. Today, each of the production line is able to churn out more than 100 bottles per minute, 20 times higher than 30 years ago. But with the increased volume, The need to maintain quality also becomes an important aspect of operations.
Production start produce oil, the first thing we do, we have to do the bulk mixture first. If pass, then we send down for the production to start producing. In the middle of the day, they will go to the finished product, so we need to analyze the oil itself.
Because the X brand medicated oil is a semi-medicinal product, many countries require high standards to be met in order for such products to enter their countries. As Leung Kai Fook adheres to strict good manufacturing practices, as well as achieving ISO 9000 certification, it allows them to export their products to many overseas countries much easier. Nonetheless, despite the incredible growth of the company, Leung Kai Fook also made sure that their employees were never left behind. Many of their employees have worked in the company for more than 10 years, and more than 50% of their employees are over the age of 45.
我病了大概有4年了，现在还在继续看医生了。但是我的老板好像我的 bill 啊什么，我拿给我的老板啊什么样，因为他的这个这里拿去啊，他也没有第二季照还给我，所以我也非常感激我的老板。
A key to maintaining business longevity is to ensure you keep your employees happy. Since a good employee is like a loyal customer, the happier you make them, the longer they will stay and help your business grow.
They like our company, although we are not the best paid. Because we're kind to them, I think.
所以我觉得我在这边能够做到40多年啊，是真的一方面当然是老板好，我才能够做得这么久，对不对？有好的老板啊，到现在都是一样。
In recent years, a new wave of entrepreneurship is sweeping the nation. The government is encouraging young Singaporeans to take the bold steps towards starting their own businesses. As we look to Leung Kai Fook's successful business of several decades, what can we learn from this company that has lasted for 3 generations and it's still going strong?
To chase after what you believe in.
我最主要是还是守业，创业难，守业更难。我们要手头要稳固，同时还要发扬光大。
Be brave, go out, venture, find the right thing that you are interested in, and then go for it. Yeah.
Under the dynamic and bold business approach taken by the family members running the company, the little magic bottle has come a long way. Today, Leung Kai Fook exports millions of dollars worth of ex-oil products every year to the Middle East, Africa and China. The products travel to 50 countries, spreading over 5 continents. They now have factories in Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore and Guangdong province in China, the hometown of founder Leung Yun Chi. However, despite Leung's pioneering marketing and advertising strategies, the main key to his success story is how he has kept the business within the family.
秘诀就是主要是要兄弟不好争，每一个商家都是一样的，他的后代一争就发生麻烦了。
Unity, we always say, even united together, nobody can take it away from us. It will not split.
They are just as important. Because without the family, I don't think we have the business, you know. And with the family help, we can grow the business. That's how I feel.
Nieces and nephews, thank you for dressing up for the event at Emirates Shanghai. Today is a very special occasion for us. Every year we have been doing this for the past 10 years, I think.
That's why, you know, every year we have a get-together reunion. And I feel very proud of it. You know.
Anyway, I put in a lot of work on it. Today we also want to launch the family tree.
We are very moved that everybody can turn up to make this a great occasion.
In this Singapore success story, what makes Leung Kai Fook unique is the strength of family unity. The value and success of Leung Fook's business is not measured by how far their products have traveled or how much money they've made, but how strong the bond is between the family members from generation to generation.
I'm very, very proud to be in this family. I do not know why. Because my family members are very kind.
觉得那种骄傲就是我们一家能够聚在一起，尤其是我们3代都能够同堂，每年都能够在一起见面，这个对这个我们的家庭是一种非常幸福的事情。